All right, we're going to do a little Labor Day afternoon stream here. September 1st. September 1st, 2025, Labor Day afternoon. We'll hopefully get back on our regularly scheduled program beginning tomorrow with 10 a.m. streams Monday through Thursday. Tomorrow, obviously, is Tuesday, but that's when school starts, and that's when the schedule can get serious. And then Fridays will be 10:30 on the MLB YouTube channel. So we'll be a little more consistent. I think on the weekends we'll kind of float around a little bit. I think that's fair because you never know what's going to crop up in parenthood on a weekend, but I definitely want to continue to stream as much as I can, pretty much every day, because that's what baseball is. It's an everyday sport, you know? No days off. So, all right, I'm going to set up a few screens here while we wait for a few people to join us today. So let's go ahead and get rid of all this Stanton stuff that I did last night that, you know, wasn't my best, I don't think. But still a fun little game. All right, we want the standings. We're going to need those. And we're also going to need Baseball Savant because there's some games going on right now. In fact, a ton of them. Mets are playing. Blue Jays and Reds are playing. Red Sox, Cleveland, Miami, Washington, Angels, Houston, White Sox, Minnesota, A's and St. Louis. And then we got Atlanta, San Fran. Got all these other games coming up later, so that's good. That'll give me some stuff for tomorrow morning. But we needed to load that up. And we need to get into the standings here at the start of today, Labor Day. So 1 month to play in the regular season. And it's getting tighter in the AL East. Toronto with a 3-game lead on the Yankees, 3.5 on the Red Sox. In the Central, Detroit 9.5 up. Houston 2 up on Seattle. I still believe in Seattle. We'll see. They have, ever since I've put my stamp on them, they have kind of come back to the crowd a little bit. But I still believe in their talent level. And, you know, Texas is making a late push here. Is this finally the time of year where they kind of get in the winning side of things? I know they've had outstanding pitching all year, but the hitting has let them down. Now they're out with Evaldi for the rest of the year, so that's rough. John Gray's gone, so some of the pitching armor has kind of been chipped away, but now all of a sudden they're winning. So do we take the Rangers seriously? I don't know. Philly and the Mets, 6-game lead there. Milwaukee, 6.5 over the Cubbies, and the Dodgers 2 over the Pods. Okay, in the wild card, Texas now become the #1 chaser of the Mariners, 2.5 behind them. Kansas City's 3 back. Cleveland's 4 back. I don't think that race is totally over yet. I think one of those teams will make it interesting here in September. And then in the National League, it's a 4-game lead. Mets over Reds, 5 over the Giants, 5.5 over the Diamondbacks. That feels kind of done. But the Mets do go to the Reds their next series after this one. So the Reds are going to get their shot head-to-head. Try to creep back in there against the Metros. All right, let's see what's going on in some of these games, man. Let's check the box score here for this Mets game. So Minaya, man, another tough start. 3 2/3, 5 earned, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Got clipped twice by homers. That was Jahmai Jones and Wencel Perez got him. Chuck Morton started for the Tigers, and he had a very similar outing. 3 2/3, 5 hits, 6 earnings, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, and he got clipped by Juan Soto. So 4 RBIs for Juan Soto on 1 swing. That's possible grand slam. So now I feel like we have to check that. All right, we need Mets and Tigers. Yeah, grand slam. So 4th inning grand slam for Juan Soto off Charlie Morton. Let's watch it.
Soto, and he will not fire.
Sinker away. Definitely a trend this year. I mean, it started last year a little bit, but the righties throwing sinkers to lefties is definitely back. Also, this is a disgusting pitch. I'm surprised he had a bad outing off the shape of this first sinker. 20.2 to the right and 0.4 going down. That's a lot of drop and a lot of movement to the right. So first pitch sinker.
You said during the
swung at.
I don't think he'll double up in the zone with that, but we'll see. Here's a changeup. Chuck has also gone to a kick change grip. I think sometimes getting moved to a new team mid-season, you can learn some new tricks. Every team does things a little bit differently. The Tigers are definitely known now with Chris Fetter as their pitching coach, as like a very good pitching operation over there. A lot of know-how. So Chuck goes over there, 41, 42 years old. And now he's throwing a kick change. I mean, again, it takes me a little while to get used to these numbers. Negative 7.5 on a changeup. That used to be like absolute outlier. Now I'm seeing it pretty regularly with guys throwing kick changes. All right, here comes the curveball. This is the bread and butter Charlie Morton pitch on an 0-2 count. Leaves it away, and let's see what he gets him on here. So he's gone sinker, changeup. Those both got strikes, and then curveball, kind of non-competitive curveball. See, he's thinking it over. What do I throw now? And he chooses curveball again, and let's see where he leaves it for the grand slam.
1-2.
He's middle down. It's deep out there, but Soto knew he got it. 108, 32, 419 feet, 4 RBI hit. Really amazing. He's been hot here at the end. His numbers are going to end up looking really, really good, and a lot of people are going to be left just with hate in their hearts about Juan Soto's season, because at the end of the day, he's putting up another damn good year. Man, look how low he stays. Look how much in his legs he is. It's a very athletic position with a huge wide stance for that two-strike approach. That doesn't mean he can't drop the thunder on a hanger. Beautiful swing. Adrian Beltre-esque with the knee to the ground here. Look at that knee on the ground. Very cool. You know, I don't do a lot of watching them from behind view, but I'm going to watch this one from the behind view. Man, awfully bright day in the Motor City today. So one thing that Soto does that I think keeps him consistent, and it's interesting to see it from this point of view. So when the pitch is high or the pitch is low, he still turns the shoulders. He doesn't dip and try to scoop like other guys do. A lot of guys try to scoop the bottom of the zone, and they like to turn at the top of the zone. Juan Soto turns every time, but all he does when the pitch is lower is he just gets lower in his legs, lower in his stance, and stays flat. I think he's one of the only hitters in the league where his bat path actually gets flatter on low pitches, which is super strange. But maybe some people could learn some things by watching this guy, because he is kind of the best hitter, you know, that's come around for his age in a really long time. So maybe he's doing something kind of right. But you watch here, this pitch is low, but he doesn't get scoopy. He uses his legs to go down and get it. So I wanted to point that out a little bit. He gets himself on plane by using his legs and his knee bend. So it's not nearly as scoopy as some guys would get on this pitch, and so I just wanted to point that out. All right, what do we got in the chat? He hurts my knees. He's so fun to watch. Yeah, I mean, it must be nice to be young. People forget Juan Soto is not old. How old is Juan? The great Juan. Like 25? Ooh, we're having internet issues. Let's just skip ahead to another page and we'll find him here. Yeah, Juan Soto is 26 years old and he's been around a long time. So like I said, it feels pretty good on your knees when they don't hurt. I don't know what that's like. Come on, keyboard. Get out of my face. Anyway, this is the season, you know. This is before the Grand Slam. This hasn't been updated or anything, but batting run value, 99th percentile. So hard to quibble with him on offense. I guess if you're looking for a place of concern, it's just the defense is literally bottom of the scale, and he's really slow now. So there's a whole part of his game that's becoming non-existent. He's heading towards that Stanton DH territory. But as we've seen this year from Schwarber, we saw Ottavino last year just DHing. We've seen Stanton do it. If you continue to hit at the very top of the game, as a DH, you still have tremendous value. So I wouldn't worry about his hitting at all. It's just as good as ever by these metrics. And I think Juan Soto will be just fine. Actually, he has been just fine. Before this game, he had a 900 OPS. Now he's got a grand slam in the mix. So his RBIs are going to go up. Average on base, all those numbers. So he does look pretty good. What else do we have here? I love how this season there isn't a dominant team. A lot of teams are still in it. Adam, how do you feel about the Ghost Runner? I can't believe this was Soto's first home run with more than one runner on the season. That's a crazy stat. That's a crazy stat. That's just abnormal, and I think that's where the fans kind of ding Juan Soto a little bit. And this is the difficulty of playing in New York. It's not just that you play well; it's when you play well. You can be remembered forever if you play well in October, or if you play well with runners in scoring position and you seem clutch and that sort of thing. But if you're getting it done when it doesn't count, that'll be nicked against you. You know, I saw it with A-Rod. I've heard about it with Dave Winfield back in the day. George Steinbrenner's own owner calling him Mr. May. So it's a tough place to play in that regard, where it seems like it's never enough and it's what have you done for me lately. But at the end of the day, this is just another great season on Juan Soto's resume. And I bet he gets to 930, 940 OPS minimum by the end of the season, because the Mets are going to be in big games. His focus is going to be locked in. And really, he's been playing great for an extended period of time now. As you see in this last 100 plate appearances rolling ex-WOBA, it's only going up above league average. He's been over 400 for quite a while now. So that's a dominant showing here in the second half. All right, we have a question about the Ghost Runner. How do I feel about it? You know, when it first happened, I really didn't like it because obviously that affected my job directly. But I do feel like it was like releasing an atomic bomb on a pitching staff to have a game go like 17 innings. And so I understand the need to kind of shorten that up and make sure the games get completed. I also think that there's some fun strategy in it. I guess the reason why I don't like it as much is because up until this year, it was about a 53% chance that the road team would win, and I just feel like home field advantage should mean something, especially towards the end of games. In the past, it was always a big advantage to be tied at home as you entered, the 8th, 9th, and extra innings, because you just need one run to win. But now you're in a situation where the other team gets to dictate a little bit, offensively what number they're gonna put on the board in an extra inning situation. So, I don't know. That's the one part of it maybe I don't like as much. Soto might get 30 steals too. Antoine Richardson has made that a big part of the game this year. Yeah, Antoine Richardson, the first base coach for the Mets, he's actually incredible at getting tips on guys. I wonder if we can look at like the running game statistics at all. Base running value. On the Mets. So just looking at these numbers a little bit, trying to figure out what they mean. These are individual players, obviously. This isn't a whole team thing. I mean, but you see the advances, the stolen base advances versus average are very good across the board. The only two guys in the negatives are McNeil and Pete, but Pete doesn't run. And, I think McNeil has been dealing with a bunch of stuff as well, but he's got Soto in the positives. He's got Beatty neutral. Lindor's having a great year stealing. Nimmo, Tyrone, and Acuna. So, but he's really good at doing the tipping. Like, I always used to think it was such a mathematical issue, base stealing. Basically pitcher's time to the plate combined with catcher's pop time. And if that was under a certain number, that was about it. But what I've come to realize is there's more factors. Sides of lead is one of the big ones. And that's why having a quality pickoff move really matters. But if you have a tip on a pitcher, it doesn't matter how quality his move is. Because if you know he's coming over, you can get back every time. And if you know he's not coming over, you can get a fantastic jump. So that's where the tipping comes in. I watch this guy day in and day out. Antoine Richardson, great work ethic, staring through videos of pitchers and finding stuff that they can use. And credit to the players for having their trust in him and not being afraid to look bad, because sometimes you're going to go on some information and, you're putting a lot of trust in that coach who gave you that information, and there might be a little bit of nervousness with that. But overall, the Mets have done outstanding this year with base stealing. And I think Antoine deserves all that credit. He's been fantastic. Running team. See if we can get this here. Oh, so yes, this is good. This is a much better board to pull up. So the Brewers are the best team in base running runs. Diamondbacks and Mets are tied at second with 9 base running runs. And a lot of it's on steals. Runs via stolen bases. The Mets are number 1 in that category. 13 runs via stolen bases, whereas the next highest is 5. So this is the argument I always give because I was the worst at holding guys. It's like, really, at the end of the day, as bad as I am, it's costing me 1 to 2 runs a year. And you can see here, like 5 runs via stolen bases is the second best a team does for the whole year. So I felt like I was right in that argument, but at the same time, it was also embarrassing, and tough to watch when a guy's just stealing every time. But yeah, this says it all. The stolen bases have been huge. Let's see here. Yeah, they have 41 advances versus average on second base. So they've been really, really good. And I just want to, shout out. Who said that in the chat? Marcus Thompson. Yeah, Marcus Thompson, you're 100% right. Antoine Richardson deserves a lot of credit. And one interesting nugget about Antoine is he was the base runner on second base that scored on Derek Jeter's last hit, that walk-off hit versus the Orioles back in, I believe, 2014. Antoine was the guy flying around third and making sure that moment was as magical as it needed to be. And that was his game. Speed, really good defense in the outfield. So he contributes in both of those ways, helping the outfielders and then also helping guys steal. So big props to Antoine. All Mets fans definitely should know who that is because he's a big factor on their team. Yeah, it really felt like those steals have paid off. Cool to see that reflected in the numbers. All right, so I meant to just hit reload on this because I'm curious if any of the game scores have changed. Mets and Tigers now 6-6. So who's that? Is that So Minaya ended up, like I said, going 3 2/3, and Soto came in, finished out the 4th. Soto started the 5th. Single, strikeout, single. Stanek came on for him. Fly out, walk, line out. So it looks like he got out of that. I don't know how that 6th run was scored. And then the Tigers are also in a similar spot. Let's watch the 2 home runs that Minaya gave up. First is the first pitch of his start.
This is not an easy customer here.
Nigel is just all over a fastball before he can even get his feet under him. And then the other one was Wencel Perez.
Get through the 4th and 5th.
All right, first pitch heater. Not great velocity for Sean in this game from what I've seen so far, 92-ish. I mean, his ball plays way up because of his slot. But when he's like 93, 94, it's a total cheat code. Then he gets clipped on a sweeper here. Just end up middle. What happens here? Actually, it's all the way in. And he's able to pull the hands in. 106-4, 26. So nice swing there by Mr. Wencel Perez. Tigers are a really good team, and I feel like they've been so far ahead. They've been so far ahead that everybody's kind of forgotten about them, but they're going to be a force to reckon with. Let's see the form that they are in as the playoffs start, because they're obviously a shoo-in for the playoffs, so they're playing this last month as a tune-up, and also to get guys healthy, individually to guys find their stride, and hopefully they can hit the ground running, in October. But it's easier said than done. Also, I see a question in the chat about Mets hit by pitches. So clearly there was 2 more this game. Lindor gets hit just now. Guess we could watch the center field cam. It's a slider, so that's just a bad pitch. There's nothing weird about that. And then Vientos got hit by Chuck early in the game with a 4-seam on a 1-2.
This guy here, he can.
Ooh, that must have nicked the finger.
Sounded like a great.
I do think that the question is about, is there a reason why the Mets get hit so much? And all actually, like 2 of the 3 years I was there, we led the big leagues in hit by pitches. And I think a couple things. A lot of it's personnel. A lot of the righties that the Mets have had recently are really vulnerable to inside pitches. I mean, every single guy in the league tries to pitch Pete inside. And Pete's just one of those guys who's not going to move. And I know going back to 2022, Mark Canha set like the all-time record for the Mets in hit by pitches in a season because he's just not going to move. Like if the ball's coming towards him, he'll take that base every time. And I feel like the Mets have a number of guys like that kind of dive for the outside corner and they're okay getting hit. And there's a lot of guys that, you know, the strategy says to pound those guys in. So you're running the risk of hitting guys when you throw the ball more inside. What do you think? Should we go dark mode for a little bit in this day stream? This is the dark mode, so we'll see if anybody votes for this. We've been trying to take votes on it. My wife likes the light mode. I kind of could go either way. Yeah, I'll look inside. Inside holes can lead to game planning hit by pitches. A lot of inside pitches. Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, Pete gets pitched in almost every at bat. So it doesn't surprise me when Pete gets hit at all. Doesn't really surprise me when Nimmo gets hit at all either because he's not one to get out of the way. Lindor doesn't move a lot of the time. Maybe I can demonstrate this on the solo shot. Lindor doesn't move a lot of the time where when the pitch comes in, he turns. Instead of like getting out of the way, he stays where he is. He just turns, kind of leaves himself exposed on the backside, so he gets clipped a lot. And again, that's like part of like an overall strategy. Like he had to learn. That's a learned behavior to basically turn and allow the ball to hit you if it's too close to you, rather than just like jump out of the way all the time. So that's a little bit of a technique why Lindor can get hit a little bit. Torrens is always getting pitched inside. Vientos is always getting pitched inside. Marte gets pitched in a lot. He's pretty anchored down. He doesn't move. So I think all those factors, besides coincidence, are probably the answer to that question. I know nobody likes a coincidence answer, but I feel like that's, you know, partially the truth. Okay. Was there anything crazy that happened last night that we can go take a good look at while we're here? Instead of trying to jump into all these live games. Cincinnati and Toronto were locked in a pretty good one. Bassett, 6 innings, 2 runs in this game. 6 strikeouts. And then Hunter Green, 6 1/3, 5 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts in that game. And this is like why I like the Reds, because they have really good pitchers, starting pitchers, but they just can't hit. And so once again, they're in a situation where they're holding on to a 1-run lead. They can't get any separation, and it's a nail biter going down the stretch of this game. So it's one of the reasons why it's hard to buy into the Reds. Like, they just don't ever create any separation. They play nothing but nail biters, but they do have that starting pitching, which is kind of a prerequisite if you want to be good. Bo Bichette, 3 for 3 today. He's now on absolute fire, hitting .309 this year. Anthony's visuals, can you start warming up because our Mets bullpen is very taxed right now? I don't think I can get to Detroit. I already flew to Detroit to play a game this year and flew back in the same day, so I don't see myself doing that a second time. But that's funny. Afternoon, Ray. Afternoon. Welcome in. All right, let's look a little bit at last night. I think there was a Degrom, 5 innings. Maybe we could watch that a little bit. Reds win, Twins win. We saw that. Blue Jays finally came through with that game. Yankees ended up dropping that game. They couldn't really get anything going against the White Sox yesterday. Verlander might be something to watch. 10 strikeouts. Oldest pitcher to have 10 plus strikeouts in a very long time. I think since Randy Johnson. So Randy Johnson's like 55 years old or something now. So that tells you how long ago that was. And the Braves beat the Phillies. So that's interesting as well. All right, yeah. So maybe we can quickly speed watch a little bit of Verlander and Degrom. So first we'll watch Verlander from yesterday, JV versus the Orioles. He threw a ton of pitches in this game. But he did punch out 10. 121 pitches in 5 innings. That's a grind. But, you know, old school dude, he's not coming out. Oh, okay. My wife's telling me that she has to go and she's going to give me the baby monitor because our kid's sleeping. That works. Okay. So let's see some of these strikeouts. His first one is a called strike 3 on Colton Cowser. Curveball. Drops it in there. One thing I noticed right away, he must be worried about tipping with runners on second, because look at how tight he's holding his hands to his chest, giving you no view of what he's throwing there. So he was definitely worried about that. That's a little bit of a different move for JV. He tends to usually go, I think, around by the waist. And here's the 12-6er. Nice pitch. That's the first strikeout for JV. Second one is going to get the rookie phenom Basayo with a slider. Let's see the location. Ah, beautiful. He has such a high release that look how much drop this pitch looks like it has.
Got him.
We'll watch that one more time.
Got him.
Nasty, but it's a positive 2.7 vert, even though to the naked eye that might look like a -7 or -8, but a lot of that's just the high release. Because no matter what, if you're releasing it up high, it has no choice to come down. So how much spin that's generating downward movement he's actually actually contributing to is actually not that much. The fact that it only has a 2.7 vert, but in terms of reality, what it looks like to the hitter, it looks like it's dropping like a rock. So that's a hell of a slider right there. And I also want to point out another thing. I was just talking about how JV had his glove pinned to him to hide the signs. Well, look at him now with the man on third. This is what we're used to seeing from JV, is the glove down here by the waist. This is where he's comfortable. So as soon as the man gets on third, he completely goes back to what's comfortable. And I've worked with this a little bit in my career, having different setups for a guy on first or a guy on second. And ultimately, it's just really hard to be consistent if you have multiple different setups. Nobody on, man on first, man on second, etc. So I know right now he's trying to close down a perceived weakness that maybe he's tipping from a man on second, but I also think he's probably a little uncomfortable pinning the glove to his chest with the man on second. So that just shows you how the threat of getting a sign tipped from second base can really get in a pitcher's head one way or another and actually can affect him, even if you don't get the pitches. All right, we got something in the chat from my wife. Or walking out as manager in the field, yes. Oh, I love you, Brett. I love you. I love you. It's going to lose connectivity here, so just put it on the floor,
really
right?
hot in here.
I know, it's hot in here.
And it's not you. It's actually,
Oh, thank you, my love.
It's actually 77 degrees.
Oh, thank you, my love.
But you are also hot in here.
Thanks, babe. All right, and here is the third strikeout. This is another slider.
A pitching coach and a manager.
Perfect location.
Here?
Got him.
Yeah, just put it on the floor there, or
Over
on
by
the
coffee.
on the bar maybe. Watch this ball trend to the corner. Look how that looks, and then just straight down off of that. That is a perfect slider location for JV's shape. It hangs right along that outside corner and just plummets straight down. So that's strikeout number 3. Here's number 4. Cowser again. Slider this time. So slider, big put away pitch in this game. Nasty. It's that on-under, and what I mean by on-under is on the plate, which means over the plate, so in between these two lines, and then under the zone. You throw breaking balls on-under, that start over the plate, you're going to get chased all day long. So that's beautiful. And then Beavers. Another rookie getting the JV treatment here. This time it's a fastball. 20.5 mile an hour. 20.5 induced vertical break on that, so it gets over the barrel. When JV was in his second heyday with the Astros, he featured quite a bit of 20-inch hop. And then he's really rolling here. This is going to be a third straight strikeout. This is Basayo again. Fastball. Up top, can't hold up. And then Vasquez. So a fourth strikeout in a row. This is a sweeper. This is a new pitch for him. When I played with him, it seemed incomprehensible he would add this to his repertoire. He was so locked in on what he was doing. He had that crazy year with Houston where he won that last Cy Young with like a 1.8. And really, it was just fastballs and sliders and a couple curveballs. But JV's not one to leave it to chance. He's starting to evolve, and this is a really good sweeper, especially from his slot, to generate 14.4 going left, throwing straight over the top. Not an easy feat to achieve. Nice pitch. And then he's going to get his last 2 strikeouts here. Gunnar Henderson. Fastball called strike. Yep, the old 4-seam down freeze. And then Mountcastle to finish out the outing. It's going to be a right-on-right changeup. I love it. Gets it to that down and in spot. He looks exhausted. 121 pitches through 5. God, I love watching it. Again, here, man on second, so you can see the glove is pinned to the chest. But look at this location. Gets it into here. Great pitch right on right. And JV's like, God damn, Jesus effing Christ. So a man after my own heart. Uses a lot of the same terminology I used to use on the mound when I was frustrated. But that was nasty. And he got through it. 5 innings, 120 pitches, no runs. Of course, you know, he's the guy known to going deep in the game, but sometimes you got to grind. So now he's starting to pick up some wins. He's starting to get some W's. And like I said, he's checking off some boxes. He passed Walter Johnson recently on the all-time strikeout list. Putting him very high on that list. I believe he's inside the top 10 now. You know, he's creeping closer to 300 and putting together a nice second half performance as the Giants try to get back in this thing. All right, we'll watch Degrom in a sec. So let's go to the chat. Would you ever see yourself as pitching coach? I know. I have no interest in solving pitching problems anymore on an individual level. I dealt with that for 20 years. I want to be manager. I want to have more power. I want to be manager. I want to really influence the moves and the clubhouse and the energy and the culture of the team. So manager or front office, you know, something big in the front office. I really would like to do a little bit more than just pitching stuff at this point. Obviously, I have a good understanding of that, but pitching coaching, you know, takes a special personality. The best pitching coaches I had were like really good therapists, and I don't think I'm the best at that. I think I'm much better at the technical side, and then, you know, just building the relationship side, helping guys out. But I don't need to be a sounding board every day for pitchers. And trying to solve a lot of the same problems I tried to solve for the last 20 years. So that's my improvement on that. What do you see in the improvement from Bayo, even though he's sucking today? Is he sucking today? What do we got? Cleveland and Boston. Yeah, he's probably done after 5. 5 innings, 3 runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Cleveland's an annoying team to face if you're a sinker guy, which is what he is. I mean, the guys that they're throwing at you, Quan is going to be a bad matchup. Jose Ramirez is never a good matchup for anybody, but they have a lot of annoying contact type hitters, Cleveland, and that can be frustrating sometimes. So without having watched the game, I don't have a great opinion on it yet, but should we go to Brian Bayo's page? This is him coming into today. 10 and 6, 2.96. Let's see if there's a pitch mix change this season. So sinker's still the primary pitch. He brought it down a little bit. 35% this year, was 40 last year. Sweeper, 20% this year, 27% last year. So he was heavily sinker sweeper last year, and now he's kind of started to mix it up more. The 4-seam went from only 4.7%. 4-seam went from only 4.7% usage last year all the way up to 16% this year. So he's upped the 4-seam, lowered the changeup, implemented more cutter. He had no cutter last year. So it's a mix change. He's changed his mix up. Last year he was a combined about 68% sinker and sweeper. That number's down to 55%. So he's clipped 13% off those pitches and added them with 4-seamers. And cutters. So cutter's a new pitch for him as well. Let's see the shapes on these new pitches. So the 4-seam is a league average 4-seam by movement, but he's got a low slot. And if you're throwing a lot of sinkers, the 4-seam is going to help him get over some barrels and help the dynamic of his changeup as well. This is the cutter, which is like a true bullet slider in the middle here. So that's a new pitch for him, and I think that's an important pitch because it helps bridge to the sweeper. So I'll give a little credit to the Red Sox player development here. Their pitching brain trust, Andrew Bailey, and several others that probably helped him diversify his mix anymore. And if there's one trend in the big leagues this year with pitching, it's the year of the mix. You know, guys are adding more and more pitches. They're not spamming their best pitch over and over and over and over and over again to exhaustion. They're still using their primary pitch, their best pitches as primaries, but they're definitely adding more depth to their arsenal to cover more situations. So that's clearly something that Bello has done. Bello has done this year, and that's a good sign. If you want to look at the downside, the strikeout rate has crept back a little bit, which is not the end of the world because he'll get his strikeouts when he needs it. But 22% strikeout, 14% whiff, starting to make him more of a true contact pitcher. And actually, in a way, that informs this decision even more. If you're going to be a contact pitcher, the way to control your contact is to get off the barrel. It's easier to get off the barrel when you have more options, given the circumstances you're in, and ways to combat swing types. So that's my quick, without watching him pitch a ton this year, that's a quick little breakdown of why I think he might be improving this year. More diverse mix, and I really think this 4-seam, this 95-mile-an-hour 4-seam that he's implemented, seems to, help him stay away from throwing too many sinkers. And let's see what the run value numbers are saying. So now the sinker's a +6. Last year it was a -6. The sweeper's a -4. Last year it was a -4. But the 4-seam +2 run value this year, I think that's very important. Also, just like it says in the chat here from Shooter McGavin, he felt like he spammed the change last year. He certainly did. 730 changeups is a ton of changeups. And also, when you throw a changeup that has the same movement as your sinker, so you see these two dots here, the greens are the changeups, and the yellows, oranges, whatever the color is, are sinkers. They have the same movement. So ultimately, if you're spamming a pitch along with another pitch that has the same movement, it's just overexposed. Guys can set their bat path to that shape, and they can fight you off. When you offset that with a pitch that has a little more lift to it, like this red chunk, which is the new 4-seam that he's throwing, well, now, as soon as he sees you get scoopy, he can now get above that barrel. So he can constantly play that game depending on how the hitters adjust. So that's a little bit of a hint of how he's done, how he's improved this year. He's gotten worse with the running game, but it's not drastic. See the first pitch strikes this year, because that's like very low-hanging fruit, but tends to be a huge factor. First pitch strike, 63.6, so no improvement there. So this is strictly a pitch mix change, and I think he's doing a lot better with his contact. No, he's actually not doing any better with his contact. The hard hit numbers are better, so he's getting off the barrel a little more. 69th percentile in hard hit and exit velo, those numbers have improved. But overall, the expected batting average is kind of similar. Expected slugging maybe got a little better. The walk rate definitely improved back to league average, which is good. But yeah, he's definitely a different type of pitcher. It's going to be curious to see how he continues to evolve. Where's his velocity at this year relative to last year? Average 95.2 this year on the sinker. Last year 95.7, 95 on the 4. Last year, so he's come down a touch on the fastball, not much, pretty negligible. But yeah, I would say overall it's a better understanding of how to pitch with more pitches and have a bigger mix, and control contact better. That would be my initial read on that. All right. Yeah, Quan slapped a hit. Did I play with Bello? No. Actually, I remember he was in Double-A the year I was there, 2021. And I remember talking with Kevin Walker, who was the bullpen coach at the time, and said, hey, I watched a little video on this kid. This kid's going to be pretty good. And it didn't take long. He got up there the very next year. And then it got extended, and now he's just really a part of what they do. But yeah, you can see him coming in the minor leagues sometimes. Guys like young for his level and still holding his own, if not dominating. And that's what Bello was showing. So I kind of had a feeling he was going to get up there pretty soon. Also helps when you have a big brother like Pedro Martinez that's around the Red Sox organization helping you out. I think that's always a good resource to have. Yeah, he spanned the change last year. Wong is his personal catcher. That's why he's worse with the running game. Yeah, I mean, if he had the other dude, Narvaez, because if you look at catcher throwing, Carlos Narvaez is number 2 in the game at 9 catcher caught stealings above average. So where's my guy Connor Wong? He's at -1. So that's a big difference. It's a big difference, and that probably makes all the difference in terms of his holding runner stats. Wonger's a better hitter, though, I think, and a really good game caller. So it's kind of tough. Like, you gotta Sometimes you gotta. It's a give and a take in baseball. So sometimes you have to, sacrifice one thing to gain another thing. So this is what I was just looking at. Sorry for not sharing my screen. Carlos Narvaez, number 2. We're actually tied basically with Terrens at 9, and then I was looking at Connor Wong. See, he's -1, so that's a pretty pretty distinct difference there. I remember, for me, I needed like an elite thrower back there to have any shot. So if the guy was an elite, it made it almost impossible. Okay. So that's what I got on Bayo for now. Good question in the chat. Keep them coming. In the meantime, we'll go check out. You know what? Something just happened in the Mets-Tigers game. Mets got 3 runs. So let's jump back over there. Detroit Mets. And, this has been what's going on. The Mets are hitting, man. The Mets have been raking for a while now. Geez, Juan Soto got a triple.
You'd like it to
left on left. So he's got a homer and a triple in this game. Oh, and it's a chopper down the line into no man's land.
Into the right field corner. It misses the side.
Run, Forrest.
1 run is in. Here comes the second one. It is a 2-run triple for Soto, who's driven in.
Big triple there. And then Melton came in. Pete struck out. Nimmo singled. This is a big hit from Nims.
He's coming at you.
Shit, my
On the
kid's
ground
crying.
left side, and that is passed.
Might have to wrap up the stream right now.
It is 9.
You know what though? Let me pause it and I'll see if I can get him back to bed. All right, I'm gonna hit it on the loading screen for a sec. Sorry, guys. All right, we're back. This dude was sleeping. So I had to go rescue him for a sec. So we don't have much time. I want to see that Nimmo hit again. Haven't seen it. Split. Let's see. Oh, a little Oppo chopper, double deflection. Really nice there. Fanto strikeout, McNeil, fielding error. Ooh, error by Glaber. What happened here? Oh, man. I don't have the angle yet. Oh, because it's the 7th. Rogers came in, did a good job. Single, ground out, line out. So now they're saying Helsley's going to come in, right? That's the word? All right. Tipping pitches. And he's been a few days. Hope he comes in and shuts him down. Yeah, I mean, I saw it was something with a move during his initial setup, but I haven't gotten a good look at it yet. So I can't comment too much on it, but I do agree with him. It was peculiar, some of the takes he's been getting. I don't think he's been executing great, but some of the takes he's been getting would have set off my tipping pitches detector a little bit. Oh. Don't worry about Helsley, Faulty. I get it. He's struggled really bad, and it's been awful so far, but this is a guy that you're going to need if you're going to go the whole way, so maybe he can really get rolling here. Okay, what are we looking at? We're looking at Guardians got out of a bases loaded, no out situation. Oh, versus the Sox. But the Sox did score, so let's go take a quick look at that. We'll hop over there. Cincinnati 2-1 in the ninth right now. Do you want me to put you down? No, you're good? Okay, Bob. Kiss? Okay. I get it. All right. Boston and Cleveland. Sobrowski. Festa. Sobrowski. So there's a Ref Snyder double, a walk, a hit by pitch, a single, a walk, and then a strikeout, and then a double play. This was the big double play that we were just talking about. Of course, we can't see it, but Bregman's going to hit into it. Man, they had a chance to really put them away here. They do get the 2 runs. But yeah, big double play here by Junis. You know, it's funny, Junis is a coach. His brother is a coach in the Red Sox system. So, wonder how he felt about that. His brother getting his team out of a big jam versus the Sox. We need Vientos to be red hot this month. I agree. Vientos was so great last year for the Metros. He's one of the few guys that can take over a game, honestly, offensively. So they could really use his bat, being more consistent down the stretch and kind of taking, his place back. All right. How long have we been doing this? 48 minutes? Not bad. Mets got another run, so 10-6 for Helsley. That's not bad. So he's got a 4-run cushion. Hopefully he comes in and pounds strikes. A's, St. Louis, LA, Houston. All right, let's see what's up with this Cincinnati-Toronto game. Yeah, Ref Snyder's great. I freaking love that guy. All right, we got the Cincinnati Redlegs and the Toronto Blue Jays. Pagan's in there. Oh, baby. Shit just went down. Guerrero single. This is how the ninth starts. Mind you, the Reds were winning in this game. Guerrero single on an infield hit to no man's land. That sucks. And then Bo, 4th hit of the day to give the Jays the lead. Oppo Taco, 102.9. Only ballpark that you can have ball 102.9 to right center and know it's gone is Cincinnati. I guess maybe Yankee Stadium too. Yeah, Bo knew it. A lot of Blue Jays fans at this game. That's what happens when you get in a pennant race. Your fans start coming on the road. All right, so looks like the Jays might hold on to that. Let's go look at Helsley now. Oh, God, it's making me nervous. I want this guy to succeed. He's too good. Double, line out, ground out. So here's the double. Riley Green double. 101 mile an hour. Comes back out 102. You can see Terrens wants it bad for him, too. Watch Terrens back here. Not happy. Then he gets a line out. They're all over that fastball, though. Wow. Didn't hit that hard, but ready to go. And then Dingler, it's a fastball away. Strike. So he's throwing 3 first pitch strikes. That was the key for me. Then gets to his slider. Ground ball 3rd. Let's see the high home because I can't see what happened. All right, so he's 2 outs. 2 outs of 1 man on, and the one hit was a ground ball, double. Oh, nope, single. McKinstry, first pitch slider. So 3 guys hit the first pitch off of him. He just cannot get a 0. Golly. Yeah, Jays Platinum, Shooter McGavin, 100% right. Really, Rogers Center is elite in terms of, especially with the renovations. Elite venue. I love that it's downtown in Toronto, which is one of the best cities in the big leagues. And then on top of that, The fans are electric. Got that hockey vibe in there. The dome for extra noise if it's closed. It's a tough place to play on the road. All right, Helsley still rolling. I wanted to watch 5 innings of Degrom. I don't know if this little boy on my lap is going to let me. No. Should we call it? Should I end the stream? No? You don't think so? So the Jays, are they going to throw Hoffman in the 9th? He's been scuffling. So that'll be interesting in this ball game. Thanks for everybody hanging with me today on Labor Day afternoon. Kind of a random time for a stream, but this is what I had today. It was mainly because this little guy was napping, but he's not now. So, all right. Let's see who Toronto brings in this game. Very curious. Toronto and the Reds. Man, the Reds, they play a freaking nail biter every night, man. Yaro Rodriguez still listed as the dude, but I think that will change. All right, maybe we could go watch Degrom for a minute last night. It was Rangers A's. I love to watch Jake. He's the only pitcher I ever played with that gave me goosebumps to watch him. It's a command, it's a velocity, it's an athleticism. It's just not normal. So here's his first out last night. We'll just speed watch this. Run drive right back to him, no problem. I catch it. Then here's one of the 2 hits I believe he allowed. 92.3 mile-an-hour slider, so the health looks good. Gonna miss Semyon on a play like that. But that goes down as a hit, and then he's got Rooker.
He's 4 for 7 this series.
It's actually a bad spot for Jake. Usually he's more on the corner. For me, that would have been a nice spot for him. That's not quite it. And then Soderstrom, 98.4, so health still looking good for Jake as we get into September here, and the Rangers trying to make this push. Second inning, Carlos Cortez, former Met farmhand. Oh, back foot slider. Perfection. Look at this pitch. This is perfection. Comes out like it's going right to that inside corner and then hits the deck. And it's 90.
Oh, Mama.
Mama not here, baby. Mama's taking sister to a friend's house. All right, 99 on the corner. Gets the call even though that's off. Hard to see it though when it's 99. And then the first pitch out here on a 93 mile-an-hour slider. Perfect location again, down and away. You're going to notice Degrom is always glove side on the black. Third inning. Slider. Yep, see ya. Zach Geloff. Four seam away again. Look at the target. Look at the execution right on the corner. Just doesn't miss, folks. Right out there. Then he does get a walk to Butler and a single to Wilson. This is the second hit. Wilson has both of them. Talk about a guy who knows how to get knocks. Just using the whole field. And then Rooker. Perfect pitch, down and away. Can't get the barrel to it. Lazy fly out, inning over. 2 more innings. Soderstrom. 98 in. Always staying at that glove side. Righty, lefty, doesn't really matter. That's where his comfort is. Glove side paint. Carlos Cortez called out on strikes. This is going to be a fastball. This time they go to away. He's been probably seeing everything in. And then he just dots you away. This is Mariano Rivera-esque. And what I mean by that is pitchers with this type of control, they can pitch you in off the plate, everything in here. And then just when you think, oh, everything looks so close to me that's coming, they'll throw a pitch that looks just really far away for you, but they'll dot it. Perfect pitch there. Thing of beauty. And Colby Thomas on a fly out. 4-seam away. Misses middle, but Jake has excellent, extension and ride and release height and all those sort of things. So that fastball plays up. Little pop up there. And one more inning, the 5th inning, as they're keeping his pitch count under control. Perfect slider. Gets the call, it's a ball. But he's rewarded for being at that corner all day. And now here is Jella. No, this is Red Harris. Actually hits a slider pretty hard, but right into the ground. 3-2 here. He's just throwing it over the plate. Just making sure it's over the plate here. So that's good pitching. That's how the count dictates where you throw it. And then his last batter is Geloff, and he'll get him with a 92-2 slider. See the location on this. Beautiful again. Right towards. If you demonstrate that your fastball is going to be dotted on this outside line all the time, then that's when you throw anything trending towards that line, you're going to get swings, and you're going to get chase. So, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, one more thing to check here. We got a Trevor Story home run that they're saying could be the shortest homer in MLB history, so we have to check up on that. That was a fun 5 innings with Degrom, but this is the last thing. So, Red Sox and Cleveland. Let's see it. I bet it's right down the pesky pole, or it's right down the left field line. Well, they call it a ground rule double. Of course, we have no broadcast cam, so we're not really going to be able to see. Yeah, buddy. 94.5 at 42, so this is probably Pesky's. Yeah, Pesky down the line. And Noel whacks it into the stands. So it's a ground rule double because it touches leather? Is that how that works? Oh, and then they rule it a homer because it never touched the ground. So there's probably a review here, and this will be changed to a homer or something. Yeah. Overturned. Trevor Story homers 23 on fly ball to right field. Sick homer. 94.5. Shortest ball you can hit for a dinger in the big leagues. Faulty. Hopefully DeGrom can pitch against the Mets in 2 weeks. That would be awesome. That would be fun to watch. All right. Well, as you can see, I got a little guy in my lap. And he needs to go get played with a little bit because he goes to school tomorrow. So, all right, let's quickly look at the probables for. No, I don't have to look at the. Well, I guess for the rest of the night today, for the rest of the day today.
Mama.
Yeah, this is all the stuff that we've seen: Manaea, Chuck, Bassett, Hunter Green, Messick, Bayo, Kikuchi, Garcia, Ellard, Ober, and then later. Oh, this is still going on. Morales, Gray,
Mama.
405. Strider, Colin, Ray. We need to see if Strider can get back on track. And then K. Wei Tang and Dollander from Coors, Taiwan Walker and Mizorowski, so that's something to watch. We could definitely watch a little bit of that tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. when I'll be on again. Bradish, he's looked great. This is his second outing. Hey, baby, want to say hi? I'll bring in my other daughter here. So it's a full house on the stream today. All right, I'll be right on, folks. Bradish Cease, that's a good matchup. I love watching Bradish. I'm curious to watch him again today. Castillo, Shane Boz, Corbin, and Ryan Nelson. So that's what we're looking at the rest of the day. Hope you guys enjoyed hanging with me as much as I enjoyed hanging with you. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. On this channel. So don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all those sort of things. Watch the videos that are on the site. And be ready for the live stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. on this channel. Thanks so much. All right. See you guys.